Good evening, everybody. Got a question for you right off the bat. Have you been wondering just what in the world we've been up to on these few months that we've been taking a break? Well, we haven't been sitting idly around twiddling our thumbs. I can assure you of that. And we're going to share all of that with you tonight. And I hope by the time tonight's over with, I hope you're just as excited about it as we are. Sue and I were just talking, by the way, I'm remiss. We have a new team member joining us tonight, Sue Dobson. And there comes Carey Blackmon. Hot diggity dog, we're all here. Jeff Blackmon. Can I start over? It's been a while since I've done this. Jeff Maddox is on the other side of the world enjoying life and taking it easy for a few days. And he'll be back before too much longer, I think. But we got a lot to cover tonight, and I hope you have a lot of questions, and we're going to do our very, very best to answer them for you. But before we get started, I want to share one thing with you. I started out using AI a little bit until I could figure it out, and I just want to share this with you, and this is from the heart. Many of you know that Poultry Keepers 360 has been producing more educational materials than ever before. To help us work more efficiently, we do use certain artificial intelligence tools during the creative process. And I want to be really, really clear about how we use them. AI does not replace our knowledge, judgment, or experience. It doesn't decide what we teach, what advice we give, or what standards we follow.
Right.
Those decisions remain ours. Instead, I use AI much like a word processor, a graphics program, a camera, or a video editor. It helps organize ideas, improve writings, assist with layouts, generate graphics, and speed up production, allowing us to spend more time doing what matters most, developing educational resources that help poultry keepers make better decisions. Every educational concept, recommendation, observation, and conclusion presented here on Poultry Keepers 360 is thoroughly reviewed before I share it with you. Okay. If I can't get it to correct something to my satisfaction, I won't use it. And I've already done that several times. In many ways, AI has just become another tool in our toolbox. It has made me much more efficient. It has allowed me to do things that I could not have done before. I was just telling Sue beforehand, this little annual report document that everybody can get for free, or annual programming guide, rather. I had about 70 hours in that, and that was using AI. If I had to do those graphics by hand,
wow,
I probably would still be going into Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a lot of work.
Our mission has not changed. Our mission will never change. We're still committed to providing thoughtful, experience-based poultry education that helps you become a more knowledgeable, confident, and capable poultry keeper. Technology may help us produce that information more efficiently, but experience, integrity, and education will always remain at the heart of Poultry Keepers 360. And you have my word on that. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And y'all ready to learn some cool stuff?
Always.
You know, I don't know how many times over the years I have heard, y'all need to have a class. Y'all need to develop a course. Well, this is our effort starting to do that. Our Poultry Keepers 360 lives will not change appreciably this year, but we are bringing some new content online to where you're going to be able to get something from us 7 days a week if you want it. And we're going to talk about that just coming up here. On page 2, and this is just kind of a welcome the Poultry Keepers 360. And it gives you sort of that 30,000 foot view of what this is all about. Down at the bottom, you'll see all our little mug shots down there in case you are just dying to know what we all look like, and you can pick us out of a crowd pretty easily. But now at page 3, this is where we start having the rubber meet the road. My hands are so dry I can't grab paper. Here we go. It's how this whole learning system that we've envisioned and put together works. You observe, you record, you analyze, and you decide, and you improve. And that's what we're all about, helping you make better poultry decisions. Observe, we got the first field guide that comes out next week is going to be about observation. And then there's a series of 6 shorts that will accompany that video. So we'll be talking observation all 7 days next week. We have created observation journals where you can make your notes because, golly, if you're like me, I forget quick anymore. So if you see something, write it down. And one of the keys to being a good observer is you need first to figure out what is normal in your flock. And once you observe your birds long enough and study them, you'll know what normal is. And so when you see something that's abnormal, it'll stick out like a sore thumb.
Yep.
Now, don't confuse looking and seeing. Okay? We can all look. And I like to compare that to two folks looking at a chicken at a poultry show. One of them's just John Q. Public off the street. The other one's a judge.
Yep.
And the guy from the public says, "Look, that's a pretty bird." And I'm sure it probably is. But a judge will look at it and he will see things like tail angle, depth of body, width of head, color of eyes, color of the plumage. All of that goes into it. And that's the difference between just looking and seeing. Observation is a skill that you have to practice and that you have to learn. It's not something we're born knowing how to do. Just doesn't work that way.
Yep.
And
I think you have to, once you learn what you're looking at and what you're looking for, making really good notes to document all that is extremely important.
Yes. Yes. Because you would be surprised. You can look back over a year's worth of notes and you can pick up some amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, did you change feeds? You can probably see it in your notes, how your birds responded to a feed change. Did you have bad weather? Was it hot? Extremely hot? You can probably see it in your notes with what you observed from your birds. So the more you observe, the more you see, and the more you write down, the better your decision making becomes. I like to sum it up that better decisions begin with better observations. All right. When I was trying to figure it up today, probably about 45 years ago. I was up at my mentor's home in Thompson, Georgia, Mr. E.W. Reese. And we were walking around just looking at birds, you know, just observing and talking about them, having a good time. And I got to noticing we were looking at a pen of cockerels that were probably about coming up 8, 9, 10 months old, maybe. I don't know. But I noticed a few of them had 2, 3, or 4 little white feathers, solid white feathers right over the kidney area. Well, I knew enough to know that solid white on a Rhode Island Red's a disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of shocked me because I knew Mr. Reese knew it. But what I didn't know was why were they still there? Why had they not been culled? So I asked him about it. He said, well, I learned with my line of reds that if you have males that have those few white feathers over the kidneys area, do not get rid of them because they'll molt those white feathers out.
Yeah.
And they'll come back in and it'll be some of the most strikingly, beautifully colored male birds you've ever had.
Yep.
I was looking, but Mr. Reese was seeing. That's the best way I can put it.
That comes from making notes and trusting your notes and time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, and one of the exercises I'm going to introduce to folks, I'll give you a sneak peek, is how just spending 5 minutes a day in your chicken coop with your hands in your pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Because if your hand's not in your pockets, you're going to be doing something. Don't want you doing something. I want you just looking at the birds, seeing, listening, smelling. All those can give you a clue. Just 5 minutes a day. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an inordinate amount of time. Let's flip over to page 4, which is what I think you are going to be most interested in, our weekly learning rhythm. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I started out this project thinking we need a content calendar so everybody knows what we're doing, when we're doing it, yada, yada, yada. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. The more I worked with it, the more confused I became. And it should not be confusing me because I created it. And I thought, this ain't right. It ought not to be working this way. And I thought, well, if it's confusing me, it's certainly going to confuse our followers and our members.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, what's the gist of what they're going to want to know? They want to know what time they can see a video, when it's going to be released, when are articles coming out, the whole ball of wax. So settled on creating this learning rhythm, and it breaks it down day by day for 7 days. On Monday, we're going to post a field guide video. This is a brand new product. We've never done them before. We're going to talk about one subject each week. They're going to be probably 15 to 20 minutes long. I'm going to cut the fluff out of it and just get to the stuff. All right. I want to get to the point because that's one thing I've learned from y'all. Don't dazzle me with how much you know. Just tell me what you want me to know. So that's what we're going to do. Now, from those field guide videos, we're going to produce, like I said, YouTube shorts. Well, if you look over here, it says we're going to release 4 YouTube shorts. That's probably an understatement. We're probably going to be closer to 5 or 6 every week. On Tuesday, we're going to drop a Poultry Keepers 360 sheet. And y'all didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I was just dropping some out there just to see what kind of response I got on them. And honestly, it didn't start out to be a sheet. It started out to be nothing more than an infographic. And this is where AI came in. And I said, how can we make this better? for the people, for the users. I want it to be attractive. I want it to be useful. And I want it to grab folks' attention. And so what we came up with was sheets. One page, one side. It has nice graphics on it. It has one message only. Some of them are just informational. Some of them, like the observation journal, is a tool for you to use. Okay. I've got things in there, a tool for tracking hatching eggs. I've got all kinds of, and you know, somebody asked me, he said, how long do you think you can keep these things going before you run out of stuff to talk about?
Jeez.
I thought, he doesn't know me very well, does he?
How many years do you have?
I know it. Probably not enough to cover it all, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Then on Wednesday, something y'all have asked for, we're going to bring back the podcast. We're not calling it a podcast. We're calling it PK360 Audio. Now, because I've got so many irons in the fire and I've got to be kind of protective of my time a little bit, we're going to have a different format than we had in the past. We won't have a 3-person team putting out content. What I'm going to do is the podcast will consist of the content from the Poultry Keepers 360 live shows.
Mm-hmm.
That way, if you want to watch the videos, you can watch the videos. If you want to drive down the road while you're listening to our melodious voice expound on something, you can do that too by listening to that as a podcast.
Yeah.
Then we get to some more YouTube shorts. Well, we already talked about those on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Friday, although I don't think I have it on here, on Fridays, I'll be posting a long form article because we have folks that like those. I'm trying to meet everybody's needs and wants as well as I can. And I want to meet you where you are in your particular situation. So that's basically what it all boils down to. You can take this and you can tell when we're going to be talking about something. What form it's going to be in. Is it going to be printed? Is it going to be video? Is it going to be audio? We have made the decision to change our Poultry Keepers 360 time. For years and years, for the first several years, we were at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then Karen had a conflict with her job, and so we changed it to 7:30 Eastern time. Well, that kind of keeps me and Jeff up past our bedtimes.
Yeah.
So we're going to bump it back to 7 a.m. Eastern time from now on out.
I mean 7 p.m.
Yeah, that's what I said. No, I didn't. I know I didn't.
You're just saying if we were listening.
I'm saying correct me because I need it. Well, one thing that kind of different that we've not done before, and I don't know if you picked up on it yet, but everything comes under the banner now of Poultry Keepers 360.
Yeah.
We don't have a separate podcast over here and a separate thing over here. It's all under the umbrella of Poultry Keepers 360. So you know where to come to get your information. You don't have to go to 3 or 4 different places to get the good stuff. You can go all to Poultry Keepers 360 and you can find it there. All the podcasts, and incidentally, the podcasts we made previously are still available and they're archived, and you can access them on the Poultry Keepers 360 YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
as are all of our video. But
Everybody learns differently.
yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. We want to have interactive discussions, questions and answers with our Poultry Keepers 360 team. And speaking of questions, do we have any questions up there? Carey, you been following along or not?
I have not seen any questions yet. I have popped up a couple of good messages that I see where people are excited about what the content that's going out, but I have not seen any questions yet.
Well, folks, here's your big chance to stump the team. Fire us a question. We'll do our best to answer it for you. So, but please, and if you have any questions about what I'm talking about, shoot a question our way. I'll be happy to answer it. In the past,
what makes you think about changing up here, Rip? Is it the way people are learning, or?
There were several things, Sue. One, the constant request for a course of some sort. Two, I look around at all the different poultry educators out there, and there is a trainload, and Carey can vouch for that.
Yes.
And I'm partial. I know I'm partial, okay? But I think Poultry Keepers 360 does as good, if not better job than anybody out there. So I've really never been one to be satisfied with the status quo. I like to kick the bucket over. I want to.
We do have one question. They want to know if we will have guest speakers.
I think that's a good possibility. Would you like to come on and be one? No. Yeah, we can do that, but we'd have to do that on our Poultry Keepers 360 live programs, because all of the others, I've already got the content planned for the next 12 months.
You've been busy.
Well, and Sue asked me why I was doing this and what instigated it. And one is a very personal reason. Before my wife passed away, she told me, I don't want you sitting around moping after I'm gone. I want you to do what you love doing. So I'm staying busy doing what I love doing.
That's right.
You're one of the best at it, Rip.
Well, I don't know about that, but I
do.
I'll give it the old heave ho or try out. Yeah. Sorry for kind of breaking up there, y'all.
It's all right. You're among friends.
Thank goodness. And good friends at that.
Yes.
One thing that had kind of always troubled me, and it was not something we planned, it's just kind of something that happened, and I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. Because we would cover content in our live programs whenever we had the idea, okay, we need to talk about this. But it could be a subject that is best suited to talk about in the winter, like wintertime ventilation in your poultry coop. But we might be talking about it in the spring. So this year, we're going to be introducing a seasonality concept. And over on page 5, you can see a little bar right there across the center of the page. And we're not going to tell you, okay, this is spring, this is whatever. But the graphics, it'll be reflected in the graphics and the look and feel of the graphics. In the springtime, you'll see flowers maybe. You know what? We're not going to overdo it, and it's not going to be all about that. But there's just little subtle hints that kind of remind you of what we're talking about when we're talking about it. And not only are we going to get it to you when you need it, we're going to get it to you before you need it, because some of the things we're
Right.
going to talk about
Mm,
may take you a month to pull off, or 2
Yeah.
months. All right.
prepare.
So in July, guess what? We're not going to be talking about summertime comments or content. We're going to be talking about winter content. So
Well, say July's a little late for heat stress.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm already suffering from that now myself.
Yeah.
I know, right?
We're there.
But you know, just trying to provide better service to you folks out there. And what, you know, I told you we're going to be talking about observation first, and then we're going to be talking about in for fall subjects how to focus, how to analyze, how to evaluate, and how to plan. And then for winter topics, we're looking at things like how do you reflect the previous year you just had? Is there some way you can refine it? What did you learn from it that you can make preparations for next year so you don't have that same problem? And of course, spring, I think of growth, application, confidence, those sorts of things. And what I have struggled and started over and over and over and over with multiple times, more than I care to admit. But before, our topics were all over the place and nothing was connected. All right. Now I'm going to make a conscious effort that all content, everything will link together. So, with the exception of our live program, our observation will come up. And then we're talking about observation with our sheets, observations with our articles, observations with our. Gone brain dead, y'all. One of those days. YouTube short. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But so it will all, you know, we don't all learn the same way. And some of us like learning from something this way or maybe something that way.
Mm-hmm.
Try to cover the bases. It's not going to be an easy task. I got it. I'll be the first to admit that. Because, like I said, our mission here is to help you make better decisions. And we're going to spend a whole year talking about what you can do, the 5 pillars of better decision. We're going to talk about observation, learning, how to reflect, how to connect, how to act. And one thing I've been toying around with a little bit, and you may have seen some of it, but I'm starting to get into encouraging a better poultry keeper culture.
Mm.
You know, we've probably all seen posts about it or heard folks talk about it, that the culture needs to be better. It's not what it used to be. And I'll firmly admit it, the culture is nowhere close to what it was when I was coming up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the shows back then were 2 days long. And now, for the 1-day shows, and the folks are chomping at the bit to get out of there by noon.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not too much.
Not much.
Not too much. Seen it.
On the 2-day shows, they had time to talk and visit.
Oh, yes.
Ask questions. Young people had time to get to know all the old timers and ask their questions and follow them around. And yeah.
That's where I learned so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was always a bunch of sacks of feed sticking around, or bales of shavings, or bales of hay or something. Well, I'd look for where the collection of all the oldest
Yeah.
guys were who weren't senile.
Yeah.
And I just,
Or me.
that's no joke. Uh, and then I just go sit and listen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you could be amazed at what you can pick up and what you can learn.
Yep. Yep. I think the one-day shows have really hurt the exhibition world.
The one-day shows and the point system.
Yes. Oh, for sure, the point system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But with our seasonality approach to delivering content, with the pillars we talked about, we create a never-ending cycle. It just repeats over and over and over and over. Topics change, but you still got that same cycle, same rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Helps you form good habits.
Yeah.
With any luck. How we doing? I need to take a short break here. And we got a little commercial we need to play for you guys. We would like to take a short break to express our appreciation to the Portrell Company for their sponsorship of the Poultry Keepers 360 Live programming. Portrell has been a trusted name in sustainable farming and poultry nutrition for decades, and their commitment to providing high-quality, natural product aligns perfectly with the values we hold dear in our poultry community. Thank you, Portrell, for partnering with us to empower poultry keepers everywhere. We're truly grateful for your dedication and support. Incidentally, what y'all think of the music?
I like it.
Yep.
That's our new custom music.
Hey.
Found a guy in Sweden, said he'd do it for $40, and I said, no, it's worth more than that. So I gave him a nice little raise, and he gave us a nice little song.
Well.
Over on page 7, we want you to think what we're doing and what we're becoming as your long-term learning resource library. Okay? Because we're going to have videos, step-by-step guides. We're going to have articles and sheets where we can get in-depth with things. We're going to have downloadables like observation journals, like the health checklist, egg production records. We're going to have the audio programs. And obviously you got your team here. You got our insights. I mean, together we've got, when you really stop and think about it, we got a pretty astounding number of years of experience in poultry keeping between all 4 of us now. Mm. But, make the most of it. Bookmark your favorite resources or make a note, start a journal, whatever. You are more than welcome to download any of the sheets, any of the guides, any of the articles I put out there. Have at them. That's what they were designed for. I had one guy, I had it posted, and it was where I linked 2 sheets together. One was the observation journal, and one was, I believe it was a poultry health checklist or something like that. Anyway, he wanted to know if we would give him permission to reproduce those and hand them out to his customers in his poultry supply store. I said, don't throw me in the briar patch. By all means, go ahead. That's just more advertising for us. So feel free to snag anything I put out there. I'm not going to speak for the whole team. But if it has my name on it, you're more than welcome to use it anytime.
I would add that all that we ask is that you don't edit it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of our material is copyrighted now. Don't change our branding on there, and don't change the wording. Use it just as it is. That's one of the reasons I've tried to dress it up a little bit, to make it something that looks like it's really worth sharing and worth passing around. And this year we're going to be talking about brooding, nutrition. Always got to talk about everything that we do in poultry is related to nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking about housing setups, observation. Boy, I kind of beat that horse to death, haven't I? Body capacity, molting, parasites, predator prevention, egg production, seasonal management, biosecurity. You know, that's something I've been remiss, and I know we don't talk about that nearly enough. Talk about incubation and hatching. And dabbling with decision trees. And what a decision tree is, and that's what the guy wanted. He wanted a copy of a decision tree. But if you see this, does it mean this or does it mean this? If it means this, then that's what the issue is. If it means this, go to the next option. And it'll work you through most situations, or a lot of situations. I won't say most, but a lot of situations. It'll help you get through that. It's helping you to think on your own. That's something else we need to be taught how to do. I mean, not only to think, but to reason. Go ahead, Carey.
I was going to say, I think a lot of this is going to help empower a lot of people to make good, accurate decisions while they're in their pens.
Yes.
You know, they're not going to have to be like, oh, what do I need to do? Let me take some pictures and let me go research. You know, we're going to be going along as the season goes, and you can be out observing your birds and say, oh, last week they talked about da-da-da-da-da. This is what I'm seeing right here, but that's just a little bit of white, so I need to hang on to that and see what happens after the molt. That's a lot of white. I may not need to hang on to that, but it's to help folks to be able to make those decisions on the fly. You know, we're empowering you to learn the stuff. Not that we don't enjoy answering questions, because I can talk about chickens 20 hours out of the day. I do need to sleep every once in a while.
Yeah.
But, you know, we want y'all to not have to wait on us to reply. We want to empower y'all to know this stuff, because, you know, what happens if the internet dies tomorrow?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
you know, people keep complaining about data centers. Well, we don't have data centers. We don't have the internet.
Yeah.
Stop and think about this one thing. How many times have y'all seen somebody ask a question? And we've already covered it umpteen times in our group.
Yep.
But they ask. That's the kind of thing I think I want to help them to learn to reason through that situation. Because if it is something serious, by the time you ask the question and you get 14 different answers back with 27 different possibilities, none of them right, you could lose some birds.
Well, and a lot of times people ask me a question in Messenger, and I will try to go find the actual episode, whether it be a live or a podcast, and send them that, because I may give a decision based on what I have, but when we actually discuss it in either a podcast or a live episode, when they were separate, we talk about a lot of different factors, and one of those factors could be something that affects you and your flock. So, when we do that, we're not being rude. We're not trying to pass it off. We're trying to give you a ton of information so you can make the most educated decision for your flock.
I think a lot of people forget that every one of us' situation is different from the others. Even if it's nothing but based on where we live, geographic locations. That makes a huge difference.
See, like Sue. Sue probably doesn't hatch out a whole lot of chicks in December.
Nope.
Me and Rip, we could do it every month of the year. I mean, in December, the coldest it's going to be outside's probably in the 30s. And it could be 70 one day too. We have had 70s on Christmas Day. So, we have to bring that all different aspects to it, like our friends in Canada. I mean, some of those suckers are already starting to see snow, and we ain't even hit the peak of summer yet. Yeah, they can. We love them, but they can keep all that.
Yeah.
I like snow. I like to look at it. It's pretty.
Yep.
Then I like to change my TV channel or keep scrolling on my phone and go to something different.
Yep.
I agree. But folks, I'm not going to say we might not stub our toe somewhere along the line, but if we stub
I like
our
a
toe,
good challenge.
We'll make it up to you. We're going to make it right. We're going to do this right.
Yeah.
Because we are in this whole learning situation together.
Yes. More people need to learn that. That's the first lesson there. Yeah.
I love when people ask me questions that I don't know the answer to, because my brain just needs another rabbit hole to run down.
No, it doesn't.
But I love learning. I mean, that's why I spent so many years in education, because I love sharing my knowledge.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
I know
Which
that
I do have announcements on that too, but they'll be later.
I have become a much better poultry keeper since I started doing poultry education. At least I think I have.
Well, and Rip, I'm going to be honest, about a little over a year after we met, I had learned a whole lot from you, and you gave me a nugget, and I said, Rip, why did you wait so long to share something so minute but so huge? And you just chuckled and said, well, you wasn't ready for it back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, dang. But to be honest, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was looking at, what I was looking for, or anything else.
Yeah.
Now, it's I hate it for them when they come out of the hatcher. They need to be ready, because the first selection happens then. But convince me why I need to feed you and grow you out to see if you got that partial white feather that is going to molt out and give me some beautiful red ones. You never know.
Rip, I had that conversation with a lady about a month ago, because she contacted me. She was getting white across the back.
Mhm.
And I told her, I said, how old is the bird? She told me, and I said, you just hang on. He hadn't molted, hadn't done his final molt yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a Reese bird.
And and one side of that, and I just want to grab people and shake them and say, hey, look. And I think it's a general tendency, and I get it.
Yeah.
They want to cull birds as early as they can to cut down on the feed bill.
Yeah. And she was mortified.
When you do that,
Yeah.
when you do that, you're going to get rid of some of your best birds, invariably.
Yep.
And Carey, you were talking about we could hatch year round. I learned something from another red breeder, Ken Bowles up in New York. I was talking to him one day and I said, Kenny, how do you always have birds in such beautiful shape and such beautiful condition to show? And he said, well, I'll tell you the secret to doing that. If you want to have birds in top condition for any show, any time in the year, hatch chicks every other month.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
And it works.
Because when you hatch them every other month, some are going to be starting to molt, some are going to be done with the molt, some have never molted yet, and they have beautiful plumage.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they're going to be different sizes at different ages and different temperaments. And you know, it's that chirping sound. You just
True, very true. It's a hobby where you never stop learning something new. And that's what I love about it. Because just when I think I got something figured out, along comes another piece of information that says, no, you're not even halfway there. And that's what I love about this hobby, that and the people.
You know, a long time ago, and I say that, I spent over 20 years in technology. And in one of the many training classes that I sat in over the years, a guy told the entire class, he said, someone asked, what's the most important single piece of advice you can give us when it comes to working on maybe IBM mainframes or something like that? It was way back when. And the guy said, regardless of what it is, you must always be a student of your craft.
Yep.
When you stop being a student of your craft, you're done.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Yep.
But we will be able to learn together better if we take the time. It doesn't take much time. I say that like it takes months, but just to connect with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And then apply what you learn and see if it works for you in your situation. It may not. But if we will just all get on the same boat, all paddling in the same direction, nobody can stop us.
Right. There you go.
Rip, I do have one question. This one comes from YouTube. It says, will you be touching on marketing trends at various times?
You know, honestly, that's something I have thought about, and being an old marketer myself. Are you talking about live birds? Or are you talking about processed birds? Or are you talking about eggs? Just give me a little bit more information, and I'll see what we can do. May not be able to do it right away, but it may be a little bit down the road. But if nothing else, we can certainly do an article or something on it.
I was going to say in the Poultry Keepers group where you posted this article, book, guide, whatever you want to call the document, if there's things that people have individual questions about, that would be a good place for them to put them, right?
Yep.
And so you could look at that, and as time comes and those topics become appropriate, then, could figure out a way to wiggle them in.
By all means. And I'm going to just throw this out there. If you're not comfortable posting in a public situation, okay, send me a private message.
Yeah.
I'll respond to that. We'll get you an answer.
Rip,
we'll help you with this problem. Exhale.
From YouTube, it's egg sales, ticks, and grow out is the marketing trends and that type thing.
Oh, he's going to make me break out of retirement and see if I can recall what I've forgotten by now. Let me see what I can come up with.
Hey, we just got to keep you busy.
Ooh, did I use my outside voice? Moving on to page 10. I think one thing that's going to set us apart from 99.9% of the other poultry keep educators out there is we are going to give you tools to use that will make a difference for you. I've been in a lot of groups. I get a lot of drama. Don't get much help, and I sure don't get any tools. I left a lot of poultry groups just for that very reason, too. I do want, and I wish we could have made it in bigger print, but down on the bottom left-hand corner on page 10, our commitment to you. We're continually creating new tools and improving the ones you love. So always have what you need to succeed. So you will always have. When I first started this, before it was Poultry Keepers 360, I don't even remember what we were called. Gold Standard Poultry Solutions. When we were, how soon we forget. When we were Gold Standard Poultry Solutions, I used a tagline for a long time: the information you need to succeed. And that's still appropriate to this, because ultimately our listeners, our viewers, our member success translates directly into our success. We can't do it without them. That absolutely cannot do it. A lot of, I won't say a lot, but some of this is repeated, and that was done on purpose, because the more times we hear something, the more it sinks in sometimes. And on page 11, we kind of finish this up with the journey continues, and I've been posting some stuff this week on sharing your knowledge. And ultimately, that's what it's all about. I told you the story about the white feathers on the Rhode Island Reds and Mr. Reese. He didn't have to tell me that. He could have hoarded all that information. And when he passed away, it would have gone to his grave. To me, information is of no value whatsoever unless we take the time to share it. I don't know if that makes sense to all of y'all, but share what you know, because even if you're brand new to this, if you've only been in it 6 months, so what? Somebody who's just coming in would like to know what you know at 6 months. They could benefit from that. And post tomorrow will be about sharing information through stories, like I did with Mr. Reese. They may not
People remember those.
Yeah, they may not remember what you told them and what you taught them. They'll remember that story if it relates. Now, I'm not saying go out there and make up a bunch of phony baloney stories. You can pick up on those, but a real story, you can spot it a mile off. And it sinks in and it works. It counts.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think that what we're giving the folks is lessons that are worth passing on. Because if we don't start looking out for down the road, I mean, I've seen where the poultry fancy has gone back when I got started in the 60s to where it is 60 years later.
Yeah.
I don't like it. But until we determine individually to invest in the next generation, it's not going to get any better.
Right.
Yep. That's right.
Yep.
I didn't know tonight I was going to get into so much philosophy on poultry education, but I guess I did.
That's all right.
Yeah.
And then on the back cover, and it says, "Thank you for being part of the journey. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of our followers. You keep me on my toes. You ask good questions. You make me think. Make me work hard sometimes." So I just want to say a very heartfelt thanks to each one of you, because you folks are the heartbeat of Poultry Keepers 360. You're why I do what I do. That's the bottom line. Okay, we're coming up almost on an hour here. Do we have any more questions or comments, Carey?
No, sir. That's it.
Okay. Sue, you got anything you want to toss out there and share?
I'm just excited to be here tonight. At least the sun's still shining. We're under tornado watch, so
Well, I'm
that's why I
grateful
keep
for that.
looking off to the side.
I
watching
don't blame you. I would be too.
watching the weather map on the television. So, but no, you've been instrumental in my journey with poultry.
Well,
I feel like that since getting to know you and following you and your education and every now and then I bop up the side of the head.
that was just a tap. That was just a tap.
Well, it's okay. I'm used to it. But I've advanced my skills. I've look at my birds in a different manner. Sit out there and watch them and evaluate.
Now you're seeing, you're not looking.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
And there is miles between the two of them.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Instead of just looking at a big gawky, 4 or 5 month old cockerel walking around, I'm looking, is he balanced? Is his back flat? Does he hold himself? Does he have vigor? What does his eyes look like? I mean, all this stuff's going through my little head while I'm just sitting there watching him, watching him walk by. And yep, it's just, a whole different way of approaching raising chickens, where before it was just fun and games. And now it's more work, but it's more interesting. It's more thoughtful and more intentional.
It's more rewarding to me too.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yep. Especially when you make gains, where you
Yeah. Oh,
set,
yeah.
and then you look out there one day and go, oh, hello.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I don't know how many times that happened walking around saying, whoa, where'd that bird come from?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But okay, well, folks, next week, or no, not next week, the first week in July,
Mm.
the rubber meets the road for Poultry Keepers 360. And I'm so thankful to have these folks right here with me, the team on my side. And I'm so thankful to have each and every one of you along for the ride too. So we'll see you then. Keep enjoying your birds.
Yeah.